the patio
This
door
is the patio door
that Jack and Lilly would have.
that Jack and Lilly came out of.
Okay.
Doesn't sound super silent
So
to me.
it's the morning of May 2nd. Take me through what happened.
Okay, I was up at 6 o'clock, sat in there and had my tea. And then on Facebook, 7 o'clock, I get up, come over here, fed my chickens. My brother, Ron, called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town with him. And I said no. I said, I'm staying home. I said, I'm going back to bed. Okay, I went and I laid down. Next thing you know, my dog started barking and the kids were out in the yard. Now, you can see there's 2 swings where the kids play. My bedroom is right there. I heard the kids. This is where the kids' swings are. This is where they always played.
And so that's where...
That's where I heard them. And I can hear everything in that trailer. If 2 kids get out of a fence, and Jack and Lilly are all the time yelling, especially Lilly, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go, Jackie. It's all I hear out here. When the kids get out of the fence and come out through here, I would have heard them yelling, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go. I didn't hear anything. The next thing I heard is I heard Daniel yelling. He was yelling for Jack and Lilly. I didn't get up because I thought he was yelling for Jack and Lilly to get in the house. So the next thing you know, came out of the trailer after I heard Daniel, about, I'd say, 10 minutes after I heard him, I come out of the trailer. I opened up the door, was standing here. Maleyha was standing right here with Meadow on her hip. And I come out and I said, what's up? She said, Jack and Lilly are missing. I said, how long? She said, about 20 minutes. I closed the door, got my boots on, came out here, ran up in the woods. Just right up here. The kids have a little fort that they made out of sticks and fir branches. And that's where they go. You can see them and hear them. We went for walks in the woods. I had to practically carry Jack through the woods because there was no way that he was walking through all that tree falls and bushes. I did this whole area. There's an old road up back. When I got up to the top of the hill, I met Daniel. And I said to him, I said, did you find them? He said, no. He said, you coming with me? I said, no. I said, I'm going to search this area. Because when she told me the kids were missing, you automatically think they went into the woods. That was my first instinct. Mm-hmm. So I went up and I did this whole area, this whole wooded area, right up to the top of the dirt road, came back down here and came back down the side of the road, came back down here and came back up the same spot. I went back into the house. By the time the cops were here, I don't know exactly what time, I didn't take my phone. The cops were here. There was a bench sitting here, or a sawhorse, it's over there, was sitting here. I was sitting on it, bawling my eyes out. I was crying because I blame myself for not getting up that morning to see the kids. Because if I would have got up, this wouldn't have never happened. Okay? That's why I was crying.
We've heard a lot about the patio door.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go see that.
Sure.
So this is the patio door.
This is the patio door.
That Jack and Lilly would have...
That Jack and Lilly came out of.
Okay. And so tell us why we've heard about the patio door.
Because everybody's saying on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok that the patio door makes a noise, and why they didn't hear the door open. The bedroom is back there. Okay.
That far window.
The last window is the bedroom.
And so they would have come out this door.
They would have come out this door
that morning.
Yes.
And then they went and played on the swing set.
Yes.
And that's when you heard them.
That's when I heard them. Right here in this area here. I plan on putting a pool up this year for the kids. You need level ground for a pool. That's what I was doing. I was leveling out the ground to set up a pool.
And this is the Thursday.
This is Thursday.
Right.
Friday, all the investigators, search and rescue and everything, right around here was where they found the only footprint.
This is where the boot.
This is where I was raking that night. That's where the boot print was found. In the mud where I was raking.
I thought there was two boot prints.
There was supposed to be a footprint found away up on the pipeline.
Right.
Maleyha sent me the picture of it. That's all I know. There was a footprint found.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, the footprint was here. The only one that they can confirm that was Lilly and Jack's was right here.
So it was child size.
Yes. A man, one of the investigators came in here and was measuring it all. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to lie. The reason why I wanted you guys to come here and do the interview here is to show you exactly where everything took place. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And to show people that this is what happened. All the stuff that people, all the rumors and accusations about us murdering the kids and burying them on the property, this place has been searched thoroughly. The well has been checked, the septic tank, all the barns were searched. My RV was searched 3 times. The trailer was searched. This whole place was searched. If they want to come back and search again, they're more than welcome.
You've talked about drones flying over your property. You've
Yes.
talked about cars driving down the road and
Yes.
slowing down. What's that been like?
I'm scared to go out sometimes in my own property. I mostly stay around back here. And if I do go out front for anything, I usually have my head down because I don't want people to see who I am. That is me myself. It's not because I'm hiding from anybody. I don't like to be on camera. I don't like my picture taken. I'm just a quiet person that just wants to be left alone, and I mind my own business. I'm just a hermit.
Do you feel as if the finger has been pointed towards you and Daniel?
Yes, I do. Because I live on the property. Come on.
Do you think your son had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly?
No, I don't believe Daniel had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly. Our heart don't lie, and my heart is telling me that my kid did not have nothing to do with this, and I had nothing to do with this. You know, if something bad happens, you get like your heart drops. Mine hasn't dropped. Deep down in my heart, I do believe Jack and Lilly are alive. It's not because of what people are saying. It's my heart tells me that they are alive.
You know, I know immediately right off the bat, people in the comments are going to say, like, she's lacking tears and her emotion doesn't seem genuine. But personally, for me, this does seem very genuine to me. I would love to know what you guys think. So let's get into the deep dive of Janie MacKenzie featuring my corgi, Archie. On May 2nd, 2025, Lilly Sullivan, age 6, and her brother Jack, age 4, vanished from their home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, a secluded community in Nova Scotia's Pictou County. 11 weeks later, the case remains unsolved, with a torn pink blanket as the most haunting clue. So I'm Joseph Morris, bringing you a detailed look at this mystery through the step-grandmother's emotional interview that was released today with CBC News, alongside my buddy here, Archie. I'll also bring you critical updates from the investigation, so please like and subscribe for more true crime updates with my corgis. So let's dive into the facts. That morning, Janie MacKenzie, the children's step-grandmother, was asleep in her RV parked near the family's trailer. Her dog's barking woke her, a sign that Lilly and Jack were playing on the backyard swing set just steps from her bedroom. She told CBC she heard their voices clearly, full of life, before an eerie silence fell. The next sound was her son, Daniel Martell, the children's stepfather, shouting their names in distress. Janie stepped outside and found Maleyha Brooks Murray, the kid's mother, standing in the driveway, holding her 1-year-old daughter, Meadow, on her hip. Maleyha said Lilly and Jack had been missing for about 20 minutes. Janie didn't hesitate. She pulled on her boots and searched the nearby woods, but found no trace of the children. The RCMP launched a massive operation that day involving nearly a dozen units, including major crimes from Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Ontario. Helicopters, drones, and search dogs scoured the property and surrounding forests, made dense by trees felled during post-tropical storm Fiona in 2022. Despite exhaustive efforts, only 2 boot prints and a pink blanket torn in 2 were found. One piece was caught in a tree, I don't know how high up, but that seems like important information, near an ATV trail off Gairloch Road. The other in the family's trash, where it had been used to cover a window. RCMP spokesperson Corporal Carly McCann confirmed the blanket belonged to Lilly, and I don't know why Lilly's blanket was being used to cover a window, but it is under forensic examination. But Daniel Martell's statements raise questions, as they always do. He first told police the blanket wasn't Lilly's, then later said it was. And in an interview with the Globe and Mail, he claimed he found part of the same blanket in his week-old garbage around the time of the discovery, suggesting it was planted, and said he reported this to the RCMP. This is so confusing, as with most things in the story. The Globe sought confirmation from police, but received no response, and Daniel didn't comment further. Janie, in her CBC interview, defended her son's character, insisting he had no role in the disappearance, though she didn't address his blanket claims directly. These contradictions, of course, have intensified scrutiny of the blanket's role and Daniel's account of what happened. Personally, I find Daniel's changing story suspicious. Lying about the blanket makes him look like he's hiding something else. I mean, what else is he possibly lying about? Or even just misremembering? Maybe he downplayed the significance of the blanket to divert attention, but without more evidence, it's hard to say why he'd lie or what his intentions were for misspeaking. Also, there was a allegation through Haley Ferdinand, which is Maleyha's half-sister, that she found, meth, if you know what I mean, in the washroom the day of the disappearance. And that's the reason why they fought at the end of the driveway and Maleyha took off. Now, I cannot confirm those allegations because I wasn't there, but this would possibly explain Daniel misremembering things. Janie's interview paints a vivid picture of the family's life. She described Lilly as a spirited 6-year-old who'd change clothes if they got dirty and screams at bugs and even doesn't like dogs. Like Janie has a dog and tried bringing the dog to Lilly, but Lilly did not like the dog, so Janie kept the dog away. And Janie described Jack as a curious 4-year-old fascinated by worms, but stubborn, refusing to walk through the woods without being carried. So, having lived on the property for 26 years alongside many of Daniel's relatives, including his uncles and father on Lansdowne Road, Janie was adamant the children wouldn't have wandered into the dense forest alone. She told CBC, quote, "I don't think they're in the woods. We searched this place. They had helicopters out. They had drones out. They went over this place with a fine-tooth comb," end quote. In a separate live stream on Facebook, she said she doesn't believe the children were abducted, explaining that Gairloch Road is a quiet, sparsely traveled area And as a longtime resident, she'd know if strangers were driving through. Quote, no one would just be driving down and take those kids, end quote, she said in that live stream or question and answer period on Facebook Messenger, which I will actually edit and link in the description below because it is actually 2 hours long and it's kind of hard to listen to, but I will link it for you guys to listen to on your own time. Instead, Janie seems to lean toward the possibility that Maleyha's family took the children, though these are allegations and unverified. This perspective, paired with the sparse evidence, only the boot prints and the blanket we have at this point, has fueled debate about what happened that morning. And again, a lot of people are saying that, I'm sorry, Janie, if you're watching, but Janie is protecting her son as most mothers would do in this situation. So again, take all of Janie's allegations about Maleyha paying more attention to Meadow than Jack and Lilly with a grain of salt. So as you know, the investigation remains active, with the RCMP now pursuing over 600 tips and analyzing 5,000 video files from Gairloch Road. No confirmed sightings of Lilly or Jack have been reported since May 1st, 2025. A $150,000 reward announced on June 19th, 2025 still stands for information leading to the children. Corporal McCann said the RCMP hasn't ruled out any possibilities, including whether Lilly and Jack are alive. Janie shares this hope, telling CBC that deep down in her heart, she believes Jack and Lilly are still alive. She pleaded for anyone with information to return them safely, noting the property's lack of cameras or streetlights would allow a discreet drop-off at night. So if you have the kids, please just give them back. In her live stream, Janie described a tense scene on May 2nd when Maleyha's mother, grandmother, 2 great aunts, and a boyfriend were at the trailer for a family reunion. A heated altercation erupted at the driveway, after which everybody left. Janie found Maleyha's calm demeanor when reporting the kids missing unusual, saying that if these were her children missing, she'd be running around screaming and hollering. She claimed Maleyha was less attentive to Lilly and Jack, focusing on Meadow, while Janie handled much of their care, babysitting them, reading to them, and watching them play. Janie also mentioned drones flying over her property, especially on weekends, and believed one took a photo of Daniel and Justin on an ATV, not Maleyha as some speculated. So these are allegations and unverified. Janie insisted she and Daniel fully cooperated, allowing searches of the trailer, RV, well, and septic tank. Daniel also took a polygraph test, which he claims he passed. And there's no confirmation from the RCMP that he indeed did pass. So again, polygraphs, like body language experts or lie detector people that like look at interviews and say, you know, that's a lie. No offense to those guys, but they're considered a pseudoscience. But at least at the end of the day, they put pressure on subjects and allow police to question them further. So Janie's interviews revealed the case's devastating impact. She told CBC her quiet life of 26 years has been upended. Drones hover over her property, cars slow to snap photos, and she's recognized everywhere she goes, forcing her to stay in her backyard, head down. She's frustrated with the RCMP's silence, noting they've released only one update since May. And unfortunately, because there's no updates, that makes the rumors go out of control. And she's addressed those rumors, denying claims of drugs or guns in her RV, and clarifying she only stopped an officer on May 2nd to secure her dog, not to obstruct justice. So I heard this crazy rumor that people thought maybe Jack and Lilly's bodies were in the cabinet because she apparently didn't allow them to search this one cabinet. Again, that's just unconfirmed rumors that are harming the investigation and causing great stress to the family, which I try to stay away from. But her plea was very heartfelt. She says that she wants the rumors to stop for herself and for the sake of the other children and even Jack and Lilly. They don't deserve that, she says. Jack and Lilly are innocent of everything. The community shares her grief, with teddy bears piling up at a memorial for Lilly and Jack. The case raises a lot of troubling questions. I mean, personally, why did Daniel's blanket story change? That just bothers me so much. Like, so many things else in this case, Daniel's story keeps changing. Also, Janie's story is a lot different from what we heard from Darren Geddes, who is speaking on behalf of Janie. So that's the reason why Janie came forward and spoke for herself, because she wanted to clear up the rumors. But I want to know what happened during the altercation that led Maleyha to leave, because we heard at first, again, that the altercation was because Maleyha was blaming Daniel for the disappearance. And then we have Haley, Maleyha's half-sister, saying, you know, it was because of meth found in the bathroom. I'm getting confused talking about this story, to be honest with you. And I just want to point out that Janie, in this really long interview, which again, I'll link below, also got the phone call wrong, the time of the phone call wrong. She said 9:48 she received a phone call. And then later in the interview, she says it was 8:48 she received a phone call. But Darren Geddes originally said it was like around 6, somewhere in 6 a.m. that she received the phone call. But Janie, again, cleared that up, that she received a phone call at 8:48 a.m. It's just a lot to keep track of. Like, personally, I don't know if they're in shock, but for me, if I were to lose like my dog, I would remember probably every little thing that happened, and immediately after, like, write it all down so that I keep my story straight. Maybe that's just me being a type A personality, but I don't know. I just don't know how you mess those things up. Darren Geddes, a cousin of Maleyha's grandmother, criticized the RCMP, saying that he was ignored when he tried sharing information, and Darren just keeps believing that the kids are on the Shubenacadie Reserve, and I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm actually from Nova Scotia, and I do not know how to pronounce that reserve. We just call it the Shub, apparently, so let's stick with that. The pink blanket found in 2 places remain the central clue. Its origins clouded by Daniel's claim of it being planted. So personally, my take, this case is a maze of contradictions and pain. Daniel's shifting story about the blanket, denying it was Lilly's, then confirming it, and now saying it was planted in week-old garbage, makes him look really suspicious, in my opinion. And I know I got some backlash for summarizing Darren Geddes' claims, because Darren really went hard on Maleyha. But I am questioning both sides. Like, I don't know what happened. Daniel insists it was Maleyha's family who planted it to mislead investigators, but the piece of the pink blanket was found over a kilometer away from the house. So, I mean, it couldn't have just been blown there. I'm actually leaning toward it possibly being snagged in a tree from an ATV, since it was found near an ATV trail. But I don't know how high the blanket was up in this tree. I mean, if it was up really high, I can understand how maybe that wasn't an ATV. But if it was like ATV level height, I would definitely lean towards, you know, a hurried exit where they just grabbed something to cover possibly, you know, the children and got it snagged in a tree. This is just a guess, of course, because guess what? I wasn't there, so don't quote me on that. Janie's defense of Daniel is raw, and her pain as a grandmother hits hard. She's lost her grandkids, and her privacy to her right now is everything. Her point about Gairloch Road being too quiet for a random abduction makes total sense. A stranger snatching 2 kids in broad daylight seems unlikely in such a remote spot, and I think under 1% of missing children cases are abducted by a stranger. So I'm just going to rule that out. And I'm also going to rule out that, you know, they were in those woods, because there's absolutely no evidence of that. So I'm actually leaning towards a family abduction, which reminds me of why Sloan Bella, you know, had the orchestrated removal theory, but the time of June 29, she said, when everything would come out, has come and passed. So unfortunately, you know, she got some things wrong. By the way, Mercury is in retrograde. So if you're feeling a bit off, maybe that's why. I just want to point that out. I'm a big I do kind of believe in astronomy and psychic stuff at the end of the day. I think it's kind of interesting to listen to. I do think it's a bit chilling that she got a lot of things right. Her suggestion, Janie's suggestion that Maleyha's family might be involved, feels like a stretch without evidence. But of course, the family fight and Maleyha's sudden departure does raise red flags. And I just keep going back to, you know, her original interview where she looked very emotionless. And she also left the scene of where her kids were. And I don't know about you, but like leaving a crime scene or a potential crime scene makes you look really bad. And then also the fact that you're a mother who just lost her kids, like, wouldn't you want to stay back at your home to make sure that you were there if the kids do decide to come back, if they are in the woods? So again, the RCMP silence is probably the most frustrating for me in this case. Those forensic results could be the key, but we need more transparency from our government. I personally feel that the RCMP are a little behind on doing forensics and think they push the angle of the children just being lost in the woods way too early on, not pursuing a crime soon enough. It kind of reminds me of the JonBenet Ramsey case where they really went with the intruder theory, but they really should have pursued the family theory. This case needs more attention, more pressure on the police to share updates, which is why I'm dedicated to covering every angle of this case. Lilly and Jack deserve those answers, and I think the truth is tied to that blanket or someone's untold story. So if you know anything more about these children, please contact the RCMP, and I'll link all of their information in the description below. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe to hang out with me and Archie today. He is 1.5. And I know a lot of you guys have been with me for quite some time. He's actually Gabby's baby. So you can kind of see that he does actually resemble Queen Gabby. So please hit like and subscribe and leave a comment, because I read all of your comments despite the advice from my therapist. Even the hidden ones. I click on the hid and I'm just like, oh, that person. Anyway, bye guys. Love you. Let's roll the outro.